Good day, I'm Jackie Judd. In any given year, there are about 6 million pregnancies in America. Almost 62 million women are of childbearing age. These numbers alone suggest that insurance issues related to contraception, maternal health, and childbirth are of outsized importance to large parts of the population. Here to discuss what services are usually offered and how the health law addresses these areas is columnist Michelle Andrews, who writes Insuring Your Health for Kaiser Health News. Welcome.
Thank you.
What services are offered, covered, paid for maternal and childbirth care? Seem to run the gamut, whether you're in the individual market or you get your insurance through your employer. Describe the range of possibilities out there.
Well, if you work for a big company, chances are you're going to have just about everything covered. You may have some small co-payments, but that may be about it for both maternity and for childbirth. But if you work for an individual plan, chances are none of that will be covered. It's a complete different situation. And if you by any chance do get some coverage in those areas, you're going to perhaps have waiting periods of up to 2 years and then limited financial coverage as well.
Back in '78, a Pregnancy Anti-Discrimination Act was passed. So given that, why are there these holes in some coverage, in some policies?
Well, the law didn't require that companies with fewer than 15 workers or individual plans abide by it. So if you work for a small business or you work for yourself and have an individual policy, none of that has to be put in place.
Some changes will be coming as a result of the healthcare overhaul law, but not until 2014. But when it arrives, what does change?
Then maternity and childbirth become what are called essential health benefits. And so all of the health plans that offer coverage on the new state-based insurance exchanges will have to offer that coverage. And that will also apply to individual and small group plans that are sold outside of the exchanges. So it should fill the holes.
I know when you were reporting this story, you interviewed at least one woman, maybe more, who was surprised after she got pregnant at what she was not covered for. So what kind of advice do you have for your readers who want to protect themselves and make sure that before they get pregnant, before they give birth, they understand what to expect?
Well, the basic thing is to look at the policy and read what the coverage is. As you talk about, being surprised, pregnancy doesn't always happen when you expect it. And if you have a waiting period of 6 months, that could really be a tough place to find yourself, pregnant and without coverage.
So read the policy, ask questions, obviously, and know well ahead of the time when you either can become pregnant or plan to become pregnant.
Exactly.
Let's move on to contraceptives. Same question I asked you at the beginning of this interview. What typically is and then is not covered?
Generally, contraceptives are covered. Most plans will cover your birth control. Certainly birth control pills are typically covered. But what happens is that you may have a stiff copayment, and that I think is where women run into trouble, especially younger women who may not have much in the way of resources and may run into a $40 or $50 a month copayment for their birth control pills.
What are women's advocates arguing about the current state of play as you just described it, and what needs, in their view, to happen?
Well, they argue that birth control is a necessary and essential preventive health benefit, and that therefore it should be covered under the health reform law as a preventive health benefit, and that women shouldn't have to pay at all for those services, because that is one of the new benefits, is that certain preventive services will be provided free of charge.
And there is a board that's looking into what should be this essential package of benefits.
Right.
What is the timeline on that, so people who are interested in this may have an idea of what and when to expect it?
What I understand is that they're talking about perhaps this fall coming up with some guidelines.
Okay. Thank you very much. Michelle Andrews, columnist for Insuring Your Health.
Thank you.